Hi, Nikki. Can you hear me? Hi. Can you hear me? I'm okay, great. I was having some technical difficulties, so I had to do the broadcast over my phone. So, not really sure. I think Facebook is doing some new things, some streaming. I don't know. I was not ready for that. So, I'm going to give it a few more minutes, get everybody in. Hello, hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Get everybody in. If you can do like watch parties so that people can actually watch the live stream with you. I'm not sure if that would mess anything up. Again, I'm not tech savvy. I just kind of follow the instructions. Hi, my Moochie. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes and then get started. Okay. I gave reminders. I guess people kind of forgot. So I don't want to kind of, take up too much time. I know people have been working all day. You're tired. Whatever the case may be, you don't feel like hearing my voice at the end of the day. So let me just go ahead and start. And then the others will join in. If not, I'll just run the video and they can just catch on whenever. So again, thank you for those of you who showed up. I really appreciate your support. I am your hostess for tonight, the author of Childhood on Fire, My Journey from the Hell of Baltimore to High Water. I'm TalishaHunter. Give you a quick introduction of who I am today, and then I'll go into some other fun stuff. So I consider myself a very loving and devoted mother of two amazing adult sons who have been my rock throughout this entire journey. My sons are everything to me. So for those of you who know me, you know that I love my sons with my entire existence. I'm also a registered nurse. I have been a registered nurse for about 7 years now. I love nursing. I'm not pivoting. I know that's the new buzzword, pivot. What's the new thing? What are nurses doing? So I'm not pivoting. I'm just jumping in with, trying this thing out. But nonetheless, I've been a nurse for 7 years. I am a nurse educator. I teach at a local community college. I'm also a mentor and the new author of Childhood on Fire. Yes! I got the first copy, y'all. So let me just answer a couple of questions, okay, to kind of quiet all the whispers. I have been getting, for a couple of weeks now, messages, emails, phone calls. Talisha, what is wrong with you? Why are you airing dirty laundry? Why are you putting the family secrets out there? And my answer is, I'm the author of my life, okay, y'all? I give myself permission to expose the ugly, the bad, the dirty, and the ugly. These are the things that I went through. It was my journey. So I don't think that truthfully, I don't think I need permission from anybody else in order to talk about my life and the pains that I endured alone. Everybody knows, childhood is important, okay? Let's just start there. When you're a child, you're exploring, you're trying to figure things out, you're identifying with yourself, you're identifying with your mother, your father, your siblings, whatever the case may be. And, you're at a very critical stage in life. You want to play, you want to learn, you want to do things, and you're going to get, messy, you're going to get dirty, you're going to make mistakes. But when a child is scolded, put down, tormented, beat, emotionally, verbally, and physically abused, it creates trauma. It festers emotional disruptions in a child's life. So pretty much that is where my story starts. So if you have the book, I know ebook, you probably didn't get a chance to see the blurb, but on the back is really a good synopsis. But for some of you who have not had the chance yet to get the book, I start my story at the age of 7. And my dad left. Back in the day, it was the cool thing. Papa was a Rolling Stone. And my dad was just one of those papas, wherever he laid his hat was his home. And he left. And when he did leave, incidentally, it put a strain on my mother. And she became very ill behind that. Parent absenteeism, parent abandonment. I'm the youngest of my family, of my siblings. So there's no adult to take care of me. So I ended up in foster care. After I went into foster care, I endured some atrocities, some things that happened. Again, you're a child trying to figure things out. I went through a couple of phases of bullying. I went through separation anxiety. I want my mommy, just like any other child. And I also had some other disruptions in my childhood. And if you get the book, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. I'm in court, and I finally see hi Ernest, hi Gregory, hi KT, thank you Devon. I finally see my sisters, who I haven't got a chance to see in maybe a couple of months. And I'm like, oh my God, they're coming to get me. I'm getting out of this and I'm going home. And there's a woman there who says I'm family, I'm taking you with me. And I'm like, well, why am I not going with my sisters? Why do they get a chance to stay together and I don't? Hi, Katie. And, you get the hey too, of course, absolutely. That's a fellow co-worker right there, y'all. That's a very strong nurse. Woo woo to all the nurses out there. And I was taken from New York, my hometown, and I was brought to Maryland, to Baltimore, Maryland. I was in a complete cultural shock. I'd never met this person who identified themselves as being my relative, and I'm away from my home. Keep in mind, and let's keep this in perspective, I'm still a child, okay? I was raised in a complete unsympathetic and brutal environment. And one of the safe havens for me, you'll see in the story, is the basement. The basement I was very frightened to go down there because it had limited lighting. And I remember just going down there, and as a child, my imagination was getting the best of me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, something is going to come out and get me. This is the end of my life. Well, it happens that this basement that I was terrified of was actually my safe haven throughout those years. I was abused. I was tormented. And I left. You know, after a while, you get tired. And once I got into like my teenage years, I was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. This house is cold. The hearts are cold. I can get more love out in the streets. And that's what I did. So I ran away. I was now not only a teenager who was dealing with identity disorder, living in disillusionment and having to cope ineffectively with the loss or the grieving of not being around their family. Now I'm in the streets trying to survive for myself. So I got into I got into a lot of troubles. I had a lot of heartaches as a teenager. And some things that, you know, again, read the book, get the book. I encourage you to get the book so that you can understand my story. I don't want to give any spoiler alerts right now. And I got into, I blossomed into a mother. I became a mother early on in life, okay, y'all? And I remember just watching my sons and looking down at them and just feeling like I got to do better for them. I remember the pain that I felt as a child, not having my parents around, not having the nurture, the love, the care, those small talks that I need. I needed that. So I said, you know what? The writing was on the wall. I got to give this to them. So what I had to do was I had to change my life, because it wasn't just about saving my life. It was about saving three. I had 3 worlds to save, y'all. Myself and then my 2 sons that I chose to bring into this world. So as taboo as it may seem, I went and I sat on somebody's couch and I started talking, okay? I started spilling my guts and I was crying and tears are just flowing. And this person is looking at me like, oh my God, this is terrible. You went through all of this? And I'm like, yes, I did. And it took me a while. One thing about healing, it's not overnight. It is not something that is going to happen instantaneously. It takes time. Sometimes a lifetime, unfortunately, for others. I was just so blessed to not be one of those people, okay? I think that I did well, granted what I've been through. So here I am. Here I am, a mother, a nurse educator, a mentor, and now an author. And hopefully my story will just be on all the channels. And if I can't save the world, okay, maybe I can save 1 or 2 people from sparing the agony that I myself went through. So as promised, thank you very much. Thank you, Marquette. Thank you, Mr. Smooth. Thank you, Gregory. So as I promised, again, some of you don't have the book, but if you don't have it, I encourage you to go buy it. Childhood on Fire. It is a very gritty and compelling read. Everybody who has read the book so far has called me or texted me and said, Talisha, I can't stop reading. This thing is better than Netflix. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it, but keep in mind, this was my life. I lived this. This wasn't a movie. This was really my life. So here's the sneak peek. You can get the book on Amazon.com, and I will personally put all the links where you can get the book. It's also on Goodreads. And there should be some other places. So buy the ebook. You can get the ebook right away. If you don't have a Kindle, that's fine, y'all. You can download Kindle Reader on your iPhone or your smartphone device, okay? And start reading it. It's like I said, turn the TV off. I want to take you, I'm inviting you into a dark world that I came from. You know, this is an accomplishment that not a lot of people are able to state. But anyway, okay, let me stay on track here. Drum rolls. Okay, that was my little fake drum rolls. Here's the name of the chapter titles. So number 1, desolation. Number 2, desperation. Number 3, the unacquainted. Number 4, things that were left unsaid. 5, impending doom. 6, anguish. 7, contemptuousness. Excuse me, y'all. Let me go this back. Let me throw this back. 5 was enough. Enough was enough. 6 was impending doom. 7 is anguish. 8 is contemptuousness. 9 is always misunderstood and never understanding. 10 is mission unstoppable. Hi, Sean. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 11 is peril, and 12, of course, I ended my book with grace. And I did so because I felt like if nobody else was there through my journey, my 20-something years of monstrous atrocities and evil acts, God was. And he delivered me from each. Okay? So I'm here, and I said I was going to be my authentic self. I went and I became very transparent with the things that I went through. And I am ready now to take your questions. Be kind. Be kind, y'all. Please be kind. So any questions? The floor is all yours. Anybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. And let me also say, I want to take the focus off of myself. Now that I wrote the book, I don't want, all the accolades, and I appreciate everybody saying I'm so proud of you, but I wrote this story not just because it's my story, but it's somebody else's story, y'all. There's some teenage girls out there who have been victimized, who have been oppressed, who have been abused, who have been mistreated, who has been put down, who want a way out. So this is their story. There is people out here who have had bad things happen to them, and they're fearful to speak out. I'm being your voice. I'm being your courage right now. So if you can't speak, I'm going to speak for you. Okay, so let's start with Sean. What triggered me to write this masterpiece? Well, again, I felt like for too long that I was suppressed. My voice was weak. I was scared because I felt like, colleagues was going to look at me some kind of way, and I was not going to be able to get this position, or I would be further alienated. And then I started to think, well, if people can't accept me for what I've been through, then they're not my friends, and they don't have the right to be in my life at this stage. I need love. We all need love right now. We don't need no more hate or condemnation. So that's my inspiration. My inspiration is I wrote this for somebody else. I want to be that light in the tunnel. I want to be able to have my name attached to reciprocal empowerment. I want to be that person to say, Talisha, thank you for doing this. Your story encouraged me to seek help, to stop the abuse, to stop the drinking, to stop the drugs, the prostitution, whatever your vices are. That's why I wrote this story, to let you know that it's never too late to change your life. So the next question is, thank you, KT. Mr. Bell, this is a good friend of mine, y'all, for a very long time. Thank you, Marshall, for being here with me. Your support is immensely appreciated. So your question is, where did you get your inspiration to tell your story? Oh, gosh. Marshall's an author, y'all, so I knew he was coming with these hard questions. So my inspiration, again, is, when you sit back, you do that moment of reflection, and you start to look, and you look back at your life, and you're like, you know what? I didn't like that person. And then you start to look at yourself today for that moment of introspection, and you're like, introspection, and you're like, well, I am a little better, but I'm still not completely happy with who I am today. And then you start looking at, down the road a little bit for that projection. And mostly is, for one, my sons. Again, I set the bar high for my sons because I didn't want them to feel the pain that I went through. I didn't want them to feel like, oh, they can just muddle through life and that, any rudimentary thing that they do in life will be accepted. No, the bar is set high. You're going to have to achieve it. And, that's first and foremost. I want my son to say, my mother is very strong. She went through all of this, and if she can do it, I know with the life that I had, I can even do greater things. Another part of my inspiration, Mr. Bell and everybody else, is, again, somebody else. I remember being that young girl crying in bed, tearing up, scared to death, frightened, and nobody to really comfort me. This is my inspiration for all those younger Talishas, for all those Keishas, those Michelles, those Renees, for that Peter, that Paul, for everybody that's out there. My inspiration is for them. I'm doing it for them. I'm placing myself out there for you. This is not just my story. This is our story. I hope that answered the question. Mr. Brooks. Okay, my question is that you got out of the trauma, but some doesn't get out. So what can you do to help them? So, because I am not... my background is not mental health counseling. I can only speak on my experiences. What worked for me is, number one, as a young child, I remember my mother anchoring us in church. Okay? That's first and foremost. I had God. I had God in my life. And again, most of those nights when I was sitting there, just very unhappy with myself, I cried out to God. So, some people aren't spiritual. They're not there yet. They may not have ever been nurtured in that direction. I challenge them to first give their permission to recognize that they have been hurt. That's first and foremost. Give yourself permission to understand that you have been hurt. You don't feel okay. You feel emotional. Sometimes you don't feel like getting out of bed. You're angry. You're burdened with grief. Give yourself permission to feel that way. It's okay, y'all. Okay, don't let anybody tell you that you don't, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're a child, a teenager, give yourself permission. If you want to scream, scream. Okay? If you want to just go and fight the pillows, do it. Give yourself permission, because I think a lot of us, we kind of suppress the pain, the hurt. And when we do, we're doing a disservice to ourselves, because that pain becomes greater and it manifests into other dimensions of our world. And for me, that was ineffective coping. I was an alcoholic. I was an alcoholic for about 20 years. Okay? And it was because I was angry. I let a lot of things fester. I didn't have a voice. So instead of me talking out, everything was internalized. So that's first and foremost. Give yourself permission to be angry. Secondly, go and see somebody. Go and get professional help. Talk to somebody. I know that in our culture, we think that we're resilient people. We're these great people. We are. We're phenomenal. But at the same time, if we have pain and we don't know how to identify with it, acknowledge it, and to heal it, we're never going to get better. I read a quote the other day that says, something to the point where, if you get cut and you don't treat it properly, you'll just bleed out on somebody else who didn't cut you. So again, get the assistance that you need. Talk to people, find groups, read inspirational stories such as myself. Reach out. If I can be an ear, if I can just listen and, just hear what you have to say. Believe me, talk therapy was one of my favorites. Any other questions? I'm so excited. Thank you so much. Yes, it's an amazing journey. It has been an amazing journey for me. And once you get the book, again, it's riveting. Be prepared to cry. Be prepared to go through an emotional roller coaster. Turn Netflix off. I've been told that this book is better than watching some of the movies on Netflix. So, any other questions? I'm ready to take them on. Hard questions. Oh, That's a beautiful thing. And if you're going through something, you know, let it out. It's okay. You know how many nights I've cried? Oh my gosh, countless. Screaming, crying, letting things out. But now you know, this is the first time in my life, and I'm 44 years old, that I can smile and look back and say, you know what? It didn't break me. I made it through. I made it. So I'm very excited about that. Any other questions? If not, I'll leave you with this. So I will be doing virtual Mondays for the next couple of weeks to see how everybody liked the storyline, what characters was their least or their most favorite. Did the story resonate with them? You know, was there something that you would like to have seen done differently? My writing style. What is it, you know, that how best can I help address that? Because I think that I'm pretty good at writing, so I'm going to keep going. And I got more stories to tell because I got more people that I want to reach out there and let them know that it is okay. I'm trying to flick up and see anybody else. Anyone have any other questions? I don't want to end it on this note, but if I do, I'm just saying thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been so many of you who have been my rock for so long. I'm not talking about a year or two, and I'm not dismissing anybody who has just recently come in my life, but those of you who have been there since, you know, childhood, since my teenage years, when I was a mess, when I was angry, when I was doing things I were not proud of. Those of you who loved me unconditionally and always gave me that vote of confidence to continue going forward with my life in the right direction. Thank you. Thank you, and God bless you. If there's no other questions. Oh, okay. Your favorite So, Michael, I'm not, again, no spoiler alert. I know you're trying to pull it out me. Michael is my favorite, one of my favorite characters. And I'm going to tell you why. When I was a child, let me see how many viewers I have. I don't want to put it out there too much. But when I was a child, and again, I wasn't allowed out. You know, I was punished for almost everything. If I ran in the house and I stomped up the steps, if somebody came knocking on the door, you know, you're punished. You're punished for the summer. You're doing this. And it was just awful. But anyway, Michael was the name that I chose for this character, this real life character. He was an angel. He was my angel, and he was a child just like me. And I remember going to the bathroom because I didn't have my own bedroom. When I stayed with my aunt, I slept on a couch. And when I used to go to the bathroom, I would look out the window. And I would see him at my aunt's gate, you know, just kind of like muddling and kicking rocks and playing on a board. And he was just waiting at the back door for me to come out, like most of my friends. So again, childhood disrupted, complex childhood trauma. So Michael was always there for me throughout the years. And it's people like him that, you know, I owe a debt of gratitude for, because they helped me. You know, if it wasn't for God, some of you who have been, again, my rock, I don't know where I would be. So again, thank you guys for coming out. You guys are amazing. You are beautiful. You rock. I love y'all. Thank you for supporting me. If you have not had the chance to, go and buy Childhood on Fire. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Anybody can find value in this book, but who really can find value are people who have been through abuse, mothers with teenage girls. If you're struggling with any type of trauma yourself, or you have ineffective coping skills, get the book, read my story, and be your best selves. Be inspired, because I am. If there's no other questions, I'm trying to give you time to talk. If not, I'll have to see you next week, because You guys are just busy with your lives, and I don't want to hold you up. But again, go by Childhood on Fire. Be blessed and have a good one.